How men can retain more than 50% of their assets in a California divorce. All right, so a lot of men are not understanding this. And the way I did this was I got a divorce settlement agreement outside of court. So if you do that, the 50-50 laws, the lifetime alimony laws of California, they do not apply. If you get a divorce settlement agreement outside of court, my result was I kept 100% of my assets, over $250,000, and I paid her zero alimony. And the final thing was I just had to pay her one-time payment of $650 to get out. All right, so yeah, a lot of men are not understanding. A lot of men think it's default. You're going to lose 50-50 and have to pay her alimony or even lifetime alimony. But no, with a divorce settlement agreement, you can literally propose anything you want, and if she signs it, that's the judgment. So basically, when I talked to my divorce lawyer, he said if a husband and wife come to their own agreement, on their own, then the family law judges rubber stamp it, aka approve it, like 99.9% of the time. So that's the strategy you want to use. And that's the strategy I used. But, okay, so now you know the strategy to use, but how to implement the strategies. That's the toughest thing. How do you negotiate with a emotional being, a woman, with you being a logical one, a rational man, and how do you get her to sign what you want her to sign? Okay, so that's the secret sauce. That's what I teach here. So here's what you do. First, you got to find your divorce lawyer. Go on Google Maps, search family law. Zoom in your zone, family law. Click enter. Get those people down, and then also do it for divorce lawyer. Do the same on Yelp for your city, divorce lawyer, and then family law. You should have at least 20. Call them up. Ask the secretary, hey, is it a paid consult or a free consult? Half will be paid, half will be free. I think I did like five free consults and one paid consult. And I've got, for my clients, I give them my notes, my list of lawyers that I had for my divorce back in LA, August 2021. My list, like all my notes, the questions I asked each lawyer, the answers each lawyer gave during the consult. So I give all that to my clients. But okay, you've chosen your lawyer, then you got to file for the divorce papers. And that's because when you file, that date puts a temporary restraining order on all your assets, all her assets, and all the joint assets. So basically, like, no big moves can be made. And that's good if you have a joint checking account with a lot of money with both your names on it. If you tell her, hey, I'm divorcing you, then she could go take the money out, and then you file for divorce 3 days later. Well, she took the money out before you filed for the divorce, so that's okay in the eyes of the court. All right, so next big thing. Filed for the divorce, but you have not served her yet. You haven't talked to her about it yet, so she actually has no idea what's going on. But what you got to do is, and also the man filing for the divorce, the woman will be far, far, far nicer and far more amenable to giving you what you want, because she'll feel you're strong sperm. That's just how women's brains are. Watch some more of my videos about the meats principle way back earlier in the channel, and then I'll give you the reasoning behind that. But yeah, we always have the man file the divorce first. It's your best chance to get what you want. Okay, so you filed, but you haven't served her, you haven't talked to her yet. This one you'd have the talk. So this is super important. No one else in the universe knows this. So this when you sit her down and tell her, this is what I did. I sat her down. We're still living together. I said, hey, the state government in our relationship is causing me a lot of stress because they can come take my business stuff or my future business stuff at any time. Yeah. I know the laws are screwed up. It's bad. I don't like the laws either. But it's causing me a lot of stress. So I'm going to file the papers to get the state government out of their relationship, simply to get rid of that stress for myself. But hey, I'm not kicking you out. You're not going to leave. We're still going to live here. We're still going to live together. Nothing's going to change. But I do got to de-stress. It's too much stress for me. And my wife, first thing she said was, but you're going to screw up my immigration stuff. And then she went on some shaming language saying, are you gay? And, I just walked away. And I did this in our apartment. And so that talk, plus her mom called me, I think same day, probably 45 minutes later, asked me what was going on. And I do recommend you talk to her parents if they call you, because if you don't, they can only assume the worst. But you need to have a tight mouthpiece and not say the wrong things. So basically just repeat to her parents, the divorce laws are bad, it's stressing me out, but I'm not kicking her out. I'm not she's still gonna live here. Nothing's gonna change, blah blah blah. And so that gives the woman, your wife, a feeling that she's not losing access to your resources, which is what we want. Because if women do not feel FOMO to like get your resources, then they will not go get your resources, because women are driven by emotion, not logic. Women's brains have not evolved to plan ahead, so your wife right now cannot plan ahead and see the future. Women have always relied on males' brains to plan ahead and like manage resources. So because she can't see you like leaving her, losing access to your resources, or because she can't feel it, then she doesn't feel like she is. Like, that's her reality to her. And because she doesn't feel she's losing access to your resources, because you said, hey, you're still going to live here, I'm not kicking you out, then she's going to take much less from you and then divorce. All right, so now you've done the talk. You've talked to the parents if they call you, which they probably will. The next step is preliminary declaration of disclosure. That means you got to fill out all these forms with all your assets, all your debts, your current credit card balance, your current credit card statement, your current bank account balances, your current bank account statement, and asset ownership for cars or boats or houses. All that stuff goes onto a list, and then you got to get that to your spouse eventually. And then serving your spouse has to be done by a third party. In California, can't be you. Basically like a third party process server. So now your wife is served. I was there when my wife was served because I wanted to see her reaction. And she was super happy, which was the opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought she was going to be like super stressed, super angry, and like break my laptop, stab my eyeballs at night. But she was super happy. So she got the forms. We walked to our bedroom, sat on the bed. I took them from her. I looked it over. I said, "Oh, these are the divorce forms." Because remember, I already told her, "Hey, I'm filing these papers," weeks previously. And the first thing she did was she looked up at me. She smiled. She said in a nice feminine, girly voice. She said, "I'm keeping your last name," which I didn't care, but I came to realize, like, I'd known Rollo Tomasi about it, where women only keep and take the last names of men they feel are strong sperm, and they do not take or they remove the last names of men they feel are weak sperm. And the reason why, if she feels if you are weak sperm or strong sperm matters, is because she'll treat you much nicer if you have strong sperm. If she feels you have strong sperm, that's simply how women have been wired, and she'll be terrible to you during the divorce process, slaughter you, drag it out, rack up the legal fees if she feels you are weak sperm. So me filing divorce made her feel that I was strong sperm, which is good. So after that, you present her with the divorce settlement agreement. Most important thing to know for you men, I screwed this up with my prenup, but what you got to do with women is you present your very best offer first. With my prenup, I was like trying to negotiate with her like a man, like be more on my side and like ladder down towards the middle or resolution. If you do that, women they feel your weak sperm, they feel like you're allowing her to lead. So no, you present your best offer first. She will try to like get more from you, but you gotta say no. We'll talk about it later. No. And you just do that until she signs what you want her to sign. But also it means your best offer has to be the one you're okay with not negotiating from. So you do all that, she signs, you win, and you're free.